I'm Batts.
And I'm IMax. And this is Film Freaks.
Sometimes I think I wanna better myself, searching for acceptance in this big wide world. Sometimes I think I will make it, playing a rock and roll band. Sometimes I wanna be a picture director and try to make the world understand by making groovy movies.
Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Hey, Mom, what do you think?
You look like a gangster.
By the time I grew up, there was $30 billion a year in cargo moving through Idlewild Airport. Believe me, we tried to steal every bit of it.
What do you do?
I'm in construction.
He's not Jewish.
Mazel tov.
For most of the guys, killings got to be accepted.
Hey, Henry, here's an arm.
Very funny, guys.
Here's a leg.
There's a wing. What do you like, the leg or the wing?
For us, to live any other way was nuts. And we were treated like movie stars with muscle. We had it all just for the asking.
It's gonna be a good summer.
It was a glorious time.
In a world that's powered by violence, on the streets where the violent have power, a new generation carries on an old tradition.
That was the Martin Scorsese classic, Goodfellas.
Oh man, don't get no better than that, boy. That's certified right there, you know? That's what we're talking about. One of the landmarks. This is how far it goes back. You know what I'm saying? The actual tape.
You gotta have it on VHS, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Certified. You know what
This
I mean?
film was awesome. Awesome film. Joe Pesci,
Oh man, classic.
Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, directed by Martin Scorsese.
It's fine.
Should have won an Oscar, right?
Should have won a few Oscars, actually.
Didn't win an Oscar. Got snubbed. You know what it lost out to?
Dances with Wolves?
Dances with Wolves. Dances with Wolves.
Nah, man.
That's what happened.
That was cool, but it's not Goodfellas. That's a technical, it's a landmark. It's an achievement in filmmaking. You know what I mean?
The Academy got it wrong. The Academy also got it wrong in 1980 with Martin Scorsese with Raging Bull.
Oh, man.
Check out the Raging Bull trailer, and we're gonna come back and tell you who Raging Bull didn't beat.
The Bronx Bull, the Raging Bull. Let's hear for the great Jake LaMotta, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm the best. I can take it more than anybody.
You're dead, you're married. Leave the young girls for me.
There's no way I'm going down. I don't go down for nobody.
What is it with him? Why does he have to make it so hard on himself?
If you beat Sugar Ray, you'll get a shot at the title. You feel that way?
There's no one else around who wants to fight me. They're all afraid.
There's a lot of bad things, Joey. Maybe it's coming back to me.
That was Raging Bull.
Woo!
Awesome movie by arguably one of the best boxing movies there is.
Technically, definitely so.
Awesome cinematography. You had Bobby De Niro, Joe Pesci again, working with Martin Scorsese. Got snubbed in the Oscars. Unmercifully snubbed. You know what I mean?
that movie was
Ordinary People beat out.
What?
Ordinary People beat out Raging Bull in 1980 for the Oscar. It is what it is. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? Some of the best lost. You know what I mean?
Because that's one of the best movies in cinema history. Black and white theme.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was another game changer, I must say. Martin Scorsese just definitely laid out his own niche with this filmmaking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, speaking of black and white films and classics, the next film is another Oscar snub, Citizen Kane. Check out the trailer.
Now tell me, continue, my boy. Don't you think it's rather unwise to continue this philanthropic enterprise? This Inquirer that's costing you $1 million a year?
You're right, Mr. Thatcher. I did lose $1 million last year. I expect to lose $1 million this year. I expect to lose $1 million next year. You know, Mr. Thatcher, at the rate of $1 million a year, I'll have to close this place in 60 years.
Here's a man that could have been president, who was as loved and hated and as talked about as any man in our time. But when he comes to die, he's got something on his mind called Rosebud. Now, what does that mean?
If we could find out what he meant by his last words as he was dying.
That Rosebud, huh? Maybe some girl. Maybe that was something he lost. Mr. Kane was a man who lost almost everything he had.
The working man! The working man! And the slum child know they can expect my best efforts in their interests. The decent, ordinary citizens know that I'll do everything in my power to protect the underprivileged.
You're making a bigger fool of yourself than I thought you would, Mr. Kane.
He is today what he has always been, and always will be, a Thatcherist.
You don't know what it means to know that people that a whole audience just doesn't want you.
Whatever I do because I love you.
You don't love me. You want me to love you? Sure. Whatever you want, just name it and it's yours. But you gotta love me.
If anybody else I'd say what's gonna happen to you would be a lesson to you. But you're gonna need more than one lesson. You're gonna get more than one lesson.
Don't worry about me, Geddes. Don't worry about me! I'm Charles Foster Kane!
That was Citizen Kane. 1941 that came out.
And you know what, that considered one of the best films ever. Yeah. And that got snubbed for a movie. That movie was called How Green Was My Valley.
Sounds like a porno.
Seriously. Like, I never even heard of that movie. I only looked it up just to see what could have possibly have been better that year.
Yeah, but that's where it goes. But if you haven't seen Citizen Kane, you got to check out Citizen Kane. One of Orson Welles' finest works. The narratives, the cinematography, all awesome. All off the hook. Speaking of something off the hook, we're going to go into one of the greatest monster movies there is that also got snubbed at the Oscars, King Kong.
We're millionaires, boys. I'll share it with all of you. Why, in a few months it'll be up in lights on Broadway. Kong, the eighth wonder of the world!
Wild, weird, wonderful. The stuff for which movies were made. Adventure, to make you wonder if it's true, while your eyes convince you that it is. truly the thrill of thrills. Don't miss it this time.
King Kong ain't got shit on me. You know what I mean?
And that's another technical marvel in filmmaking back in that was 31, I think
that was 1934 when that came out.
Oh yeah, so it's like
that was one of the first films to use stop motion filming.
Right.
One of the biggest budgets of films at that time, and as a matter of fact, in 1934, that was the first year that the Oscars allowed for 10 films to be nominated for Best Film, and King Kong got nothing.
That's a shame. It's a tragedy, and that's what I'm talking about. You got more room and you ain't even acknowledge the classics. You know what I mean?
Well, they didn't know it was going to be classics at the time because they don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Things don't stand the test, and some things stand the test. That's just the way it is.
Right.
Speaking of standing the test and great films, this film that I'm about to show you the trailer on is a monumental event in space sci-fi filming. Next trailer is 2001: A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick classic. Check it out. Hi, Tone.
Every time I see that movie,
Hi,
clips,
Tone.
give me the chills.
Hi, Tone.
Visually, it's not much comparing to 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's a supreme classic in filmmaking.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Even though it was little to no dialogue in the film, it's still one of the greatest sci-fi films and influential on films like Alien,
Definitely.
films like Star Wars, films like Prometheus.
Most definitely.
All of those films, Interstellar that just came out. Yeah. All of those films harken back to what Kubrick was doing at the time, which makes him a true visionary in films. And for him to get no Oscars for that film is totally.
He didn't even get nominated that year.
Nah, he ain't getting nominated.
Even nominated, and it's the game changer. Nothing looked like that ever in cinema history.
I really don't understand it, but that's what happens.
Yeah,
that's what happens in films. You know what I mean? People get snubbed. You know what I mean?
Life ain't fair.
Life ain't fair. Speaking of life ain't being fair and life not being right and people getting jerked and people getting yanked.
Right.
Alfred Hitchcock, who probably the master of suspense.
Master of suspense.
Who's probably considered one of the best directors and the best suspense genre
He created his own lane, pretty much. Like Hitchcock films are like your own.
I remember he used to have a little TV show, the TV show that came on during
man, he was a genius. He was a certified genius.
Well, this is one of his masterpieces, Psycho. Y'all can check this out.
Here we have a quiet little motel, when in fact it has now become known as the scene of the crime.
You have a vacancy?
Oh, we have 12 vacancies.
You know, this is the first place that looks like it's hiding from the world.
I think that we're all in our private traps, clamped in them. And none of us can ever get out.
Is anyone at home?
Oh, that must be my mother.
Is anything wrong?
Am I acting as if there's something wrong?
She's not missing so much as she's run away.
Put me down.
Mother! Oh, God! Mother!
What are you running away from?
She looked like a wrong one to you?
It's not as if she were a maniac. She just goes a little mad sometimes.
Why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
Oh man, when you know them certified iconic scenes when you see that trailer, you already know what it is.
Yo man, I didn't even want to take a motherfucking shower after seeing this movie, man. Word of my life, man.
A lot of people was like that.
I might not shower tonight after looking at the trailer. You know what I mean?
And for real, you gotta understand that movie wasn't even nominated by the Academy.
Wasn't even nominated. The movie that won that year was The Apartment by Billy Wilder.
Apartment?
Yeah. So
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's what happens. You know what I mean? Some guys get it, some guys don't get it. You know what I mean? Alfred Hitchcock didn't fucking get it at that time.
And they always snubbed him. He had a couple of joints that never got no attention.
Yeah, he didn't get no Oscars. He got 0 Oscars, Alfred Hitchcock, which is a tragedy.
Right.
But he's like a household name. Anybody that talks about film knows who Alfred Hitchcock is.
Most definitely.
But he didn't get an Oscar. So, you know what I mean? Some guys win some guys lose some. And Alfred Hitchcock lost some. Speaking of somebody that lost some, my buddy Spike Lee joints. I used to love going to the movies. Like you,
that was
coming up at that era, you know what I mean? You had to love seeing them Spike Lee movies. And this movie got snubbed by the Oscars, but it never got snubbed by me and Tone IMax&Batts. It's one of our favorite films to watch.
Most definitely.
Hilarious, great acting. This is Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee.
It's gonna be a scorcher today.
Universal Pictures presents a new film from Spike Lee.
Good morning, Miss Mother Sister. Now, Mookie, don't work too hard today. The man says it's gonna be hot as the devil.
I've been here 25 years. LaSalle's famous pizzeria is here to stay. Trust me.
Mookie, the last time I trusted you, we ended up with a son.
I know you can't stand it. You can't stand it.
Hey, Sal, I'm gonna bring from the wall here.
You want brothers on the wall? Love. Get your own place. You can do what you want to do.
What I tell you about that noise? What I tell you about them pictures? Give us what we want.
You called some brother, talk to him.
You the man. No, you the man. No, you the man.
No, you the man.
The first time you turn your back, boom. Right here, man, in the back.
Y'all take a chill. You like to sign a petition to boycott Sal's famous pizzeria?
Hear me, what you ought to do is boycott that no-good barber that messed up your head.
And that's the double truth. Rule. Break the power. Break the power.
You know, deep down inside, I think you wish you were black.
Who told you to step on my sneakers? Who told you to walk on my side of the block? Who told you to be in my neighborhood?
I own this brownstone.
Who told you to buy a brownstone on my block, in my neighborhood, on my side of the street?
I can't even hear myself think.
from Spike Lee. Director of School Days and She's Gotta Have It.
Good people, please. If we don't stop this and stop it now, we're going to do something we're going to regret for the rest of our lives. Doctor?
Come on, what?
Always do the right thing.
That's it?
That's it.
I got it. I'm gone.
Fight the power. You know what I mean? How could you go wrong? You got Public Enemy doing the soundtrack.
Oh, we through.
You got Spike Lee doing the film, starring in the film, Giancarlo Esposito,
Robin Harris.
Robin Harris.
Salute to the
classic
king.
Robin Harris,
You know what I mean?
man.
Martin Lawrence in the
Martin
film.
Lawrence, first starring role for Martin Lawrence, matter of fact.
I.C. Davis, Ruby D, the couple.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
power couple.
The power couple.
Real
exactly.
power couple, you know what I mean? Iconic, man. I couldn't believe that this movie didn't even get nominated for an Oscar. You know what won for the Oscars that year?
What was that, Joe? What was that?
Driving Miss Daisy.
Come on.
Driving Miss Daisy. I mean, come on. I mean, I love Morgan Freeman just as much as you love Morgan Freeman. But Morgan Freeman up against the mayor and Ozzie Davis, the mayor, and Mookie. and not even to mention Rosie Perez with the ice scene, with the tits. Oh, man. It was like classic. She should have won an Oscar just for tits alone. I mean, best supporting boobs in an actress. You know what I mean? It was awesome. I loved it. You know what I mean? Not to get all booby on you, but you know what I mean? I'm into that. You know what I mean? That's my twist. You know what I mean? You can judge me and unfollow me, on Facebook and all that stuff. But
it is what it is.
It's definitely a dope flick, man, and it's a shame that it got snubbed. But we did this episode, so when you go to watch the Oscars, I know a lot of you don't watch it because your films don't get nominated and stuff like that. But when you go to watch the Oscars, don't be mad if your film doesn't win or your film's not nominated, because it doesn't mean that your film isn't good or the film that you like wasn't a good film.
It could be a classic that be considered one of the best ever.
Yeah, but the Academy sometimes get it wrong. That doesn't mean that you got it wrong.
Exactly.
So still go out there and support. Still go out there and check out your films. And if they don't win, maybe someday down the line they will. The artists, the actors, the directors will win something. Maybe they won't, but it still doesn't make the film any less valid and any less classics and masterpieces. So this is my man Tone IMax Tan,
and this is my man Batts,
and this is Film Freaks. You guys come back next week, and we'll be having the Oscar show.
Yeah, we're gonna get formal on.
Yeah, I might throw my little bow tie and my top hat and stuff like that for you guys and get suited in Buddha's little patent leathers. You know what I mean? Show a little something for the people, you know what I mean? But in the meantime, in between time, you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/freaksforfilms. And you can also subscribe to the YouTube page, which is like written right around here. You can check it out. And when you subscribe to the YouTube page, not only will you get the Film Freak episodes, you'll also get outtakes, and you'll also get movie reviews. And when we're scouting around the city, going to different theaters and hanging out,
on the scene. That's what we all about.
We're always every theater: the Ritz 5, the Ritz East, the Ritz at Boris, King of Prussia. They know what's up in the IMAX theater.
We regulars.
You
know what I'm saying?
So all of that will be on the YouTube page. So you gotta subscribe to the YouTube page in order to see all that. That's where all the dope is going to really be. All of that intricate end stuff. You know what I mean? So check out the YouTube page. Check it out. The Film Freaks, Batts, IMax. Go out and see some good films.
We'll see you on the scene.